I had so many conversations with the police, like actual, and they were like, you want to do what? That Latitude moon commercial is weird, but it's very funny. So we had a conversation, me and Jahan. I've ruined his name. Everyone calls him Jahan. It's like my favorite thing.
Like the top 15 like cringiest disc golf commercials. Have
I
you
saw
seen
that
it?
today. It popped up.
Okay, I
Yeah,
watched it like yesterday.
yeah, I'm on there twice.
This was a pretty amazing moment for me. For years now, I've been watching Latitude 64's YouTube channel, and the main reason for that has been Jonathan. He has created some of the best videos in disc golf, some of the craziest projects, and now I get to have an interview with the man himself. From how he came to work at Latitude, his best videos, and even having his own signature disc, we cover it all. I hope you guys enjoy it. I certainly did. So, I've said in older videos that my favorite YouTube video is the Latitude 64 making a wooden disc.
Now I saw
Uh,
that.
yeah, I
That's a good
wanted
shout out.
I wanted to ask you
Oh.
about that.
Mhm.
The vlog of it is awesome, but the idea of it is incredible. Where'd you come up with it? Can you tell me any like fun, quirky stories about that video?
Hmm. Well, I usually get inspiration for other from other content on YouTube, and woodworking seems to be like the process of woodworking. I find myself looking at those videos or restoration of a thing that I didn't know even existed, but I find myself interested in that. So there's a story from creating a thing into another thing, and it was actually a marketing thing for, I think it was Hope, one of our discs, and I thought I wanted to copy that into the thing. And I thought like I'm gonna go back to school because I went to that school in the video maybe 15 years ago. So then it's like a personal connection to the place. And so that was the premise of the video. And I didn't know. I just told my boss that I am going to this place and make this for a couple of days. And he went, all right, try that then. So I went back to my old school, and I didn't know how I didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know if it's gonna work, but I figured if it doesn't work, then it's a story of itself, of a story of failure. So so I got there and I filmed everything, and there was this screws that was in, and I got really upset because I just had one shot at this, like time wise I could just be there for this amount of hours. So but I went anyway, let's see if this works. But then, and this was the worst part, I forgot SD card, like the memory card of the video camera, somewhere in the facility. And I went like, okay, because they're very small. And I had cleaned up the place from all the wood chips or whatever. And I thought that, yeah, I've messed up. The whole video is in that card that is there. And I didn't know how to get back in. So I just went to the place, to the restaurant, because there's students living there. And I went like, can anyone please let me into the woodworking shop? And I looked for a good amount of time, and I found that little SD card. And I was like, oh, Jesus, that was, whew. I didn't want to come back and say to my boss, like, yeah, you know, that idea I had, it went really well, but I haven't documented any of it. So it was just, for me, I think when I make videos, I want to feel like this would be fun to do. Also, that I've recently forged a disc that was horribly dangerous in every sense of the word. But it's just like trying to find a product that I find enjoyable. And then if it works with some sort of marketing in that space, that's for me feels good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the disc you made out of metal.
Yeah, Jesus, that was so dangerous.
Were you trying to, what was the marketing behind that? Were you trying to,
No, that was just a stupid idea. There was no marketing behind it whatsoever. That was only the process of making something. So I, it was so dangerous. I used tools that I didn't know, like a plasma cutter. Never, like that sounds very futuristic and also dangerous. And but I found this forger or blacksmith that was really helpful, because I asked a bunch of blacksmiths to do a disc golf disc, and they were all like, "This is very complicated. I don't think we can pull this off in a good way." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't matter, because it could be a story of failure also." But it turned out it's very, very dangerous. I had to buy a different glove to even use it, and I felt bad for the trees when we hit them. So it was sort of a revenge on the trees, I guess.
Do you have any more ideas behind like trying to make more discs out of different materials?
Not right now. I've been wanting to maybe something out of ice, but then it's gonna break as soon as it'll hit. But maybe maybe redo the wood project and try to make it as because when we threw it into the and when it got wet, it got warped. So we got a lot of feedback like you should have used another piece of wood, and I just chose a piece of wood that looked good. So maybe redo something there, or 3D printing. That's been a fun project also. If anyone has suggestions, let me know.
So I want to move back to when you started working for Latitude. What were the initial like conversations of when you started working there? What were you doing before? What was kind of the time frame behind that?
I worked in a video production studio in Stockholm, making um, like educational videos for HR persons and accountants and stuff like that. I didn't have any knowledge of those things. I'm not smart enough for those things. So I used to like create the videos and edit the videos. And but I think more to what I'm doing right now, I had a YouTube channel and a podcast on the side sort of. And so everything has just sort of come together with the work here at Latitude. But the initial conversations was just, can you please make videos for us? They didn't say please. That is something I added just now. But can you make videos? We want to see what could happen. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. So, but I feel very fortunate that I've had the creative freedom to do pretty much whatever I want until a point of doing that forging a disc. I really, really wanted to try to have it licensed as a weapon. I had so many conversations with the police, like actual, and they were like, you want to do what? Like, yeah, I want to apply for a like license. I want to register a weapon. How do I do that? And they were like, oh, all right, you have to send in the email with all the information. And I did the whole process, and I tried to get, I don't know how many weapons experts I've talked to, like, do you want to be on camera and hold my creation? And they were like, no, maybe if we open this door to a YouTube thing, a lot of maybe other stupid ideas we have to deal with. And I totally get that. Um, but yeah, I feel very fortunate to have the creative space that I have here, for sure.
So did you transition full time into Latitude or was it like a slow and steady process?
No, that's the thing. That is the thing that I very much admire other creators that don't have the luxury of time that I got, like full time, do videos full time. And it's going on 3 years now. And that is also one of the things that I feel really, really lucky about, that I there's so many people asking me like, so what do you really, what do you do? What do you do? And I'll say, yeah, I make the videos. That is the whole thing. Maybe they haven't like gone into editing. You know, editing, it takes time. So yeah, full time from the start.
What about, okay, I have an idea here. If you could make a video, because you have budgeting issues and stuff like that, no budgeting, nothing, whatever. If you could make a video in disc golf, what would you want to make?
Yeah, that is the thing. If we look at two different videos that cost a bit of money, And well, if you have discs, the two videos that we've done recently that's been so low effort in terms of not revenue but views, it's the we tried the worst selling discs. The only thing that we needed now that I wouldn't maybe be possible to get otherwise is the statistics of the sales. But I would, if I didn't have, I would do something along the lines of there's pop-up videos that goes like how I learned how to throw X amounts of feet further. I would go into the how to space of it. Those are still the videos that has the most views on our channel and are you can see it when the season starts that those videos sort of start to get views again. So I would go into the how to side of it because there's still so many people trying to learn the sport, me included. So I would go into that first off. And this is also the thing that I've noticed time and time again is that if I spend a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and maybe a lot of money because my time is money for the company, that doesn't necessarily mean a better video, not necessarily. So I know I spent like 3 weeks making a review of every bag that we have, and that video didn't perform well at all, sort of in the terms of like the how-to videos. So the idea is most important, I think, and you don't need a lot of money to make videos that perform well.
Do you have anybody else coming up with video ideas, or is it just you? Do you have people like pitching you stuff from the company?
Not really. Uh, it's usually some sort of idea that I have, or I know that Johannes had the idea of like amateur versus pro disc golfer. That sort of we make some videos of that, but it's usually me coming with an idea and sort of talk with Johannes like what you work like. He's very good at uh cutting off the fat, so to speak. Like this is too much, this is too little. So it's a conversation with Johannes from maybe an idea that I had. I'm certainly open to any idea from anyone, but so far it's I have this document like I fill in ideas whenever I find them. Yeah.
What about when you started there? How much of a selling point was it that you were a beginner amateur, like you were starting in disc golf? Was that appealing to them, or would have Latitude wanted someone who was a pro already?
I think one of the what I think David, the CEO, saw. I'm at his office right now. He's not here. I took over his office, but I think he saw the value of having an outsider because the pandemic start and the it was sort of something were about to happen in disc golf because everyone knows you couldn't go to concerts, you couldn't go, but disc golf was allowed in many places to do. So I think the initial conversations with David was that they were interested in someone with a different perspective. There was so many people here at Latitude, and I bet other manufacturer has workers that's been playing disc golf for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. And maybe you don't get that beginner perspective then. So the idea was not to make like a beginner series. It was just the perspective side of it. So that was the initial, but when I started, I didn't have like do these videos. It was just like I can only make videos where I try to learn disc golf because I don't want to say buy this disc. It looks blurry, but that's the background thing. Is this is not
Okay.
secret.
I was like, what?
But
Is that a new
that looks
prototype
so
and no one can
shady.
see it? That looks
Yeah.
weird.
But it happened naturally. So I don't want to hold a disc in my hand and say like buy this. This is the best one if I don't truly believe it. And at the time, I didn't know anything.
Can you tell me a little bit about getting your own signature disc? I mean, it's one of the it's one of the
Yeah,
best
it's very odd.
stamps
Mm,
in disc golf ever. But
thank you.
can you tell me a little bit about that like process and about that whole getting your own signature disc?
Yeah, that was nowhere near any radar whatsoever. It was actually the start of it was during the pandemic, we didn't have any discs, and I wanted to wanted to make a video, and I asked Emil, one of my other bosses, like, I need some discs. Can I please have some? I didn't say please again. But he was like, yeah, yeah, take these. And it was like a box of orange, nothing on them. And I went, oh, fuse. Okay. But I needed to put something on there just because I wanted to have something on the disc. It was just blank. And I don't know. I have heard that you get, when you see just a smiley face, you get happy. Like that something happens with you just with the smiley face. So I went with that and just said it has to be some sort of fuse has to be there somehow. But then nothing happened. But I used them in the videos, not because I wanted to have a signature disc. It just so happens that those were lying around and I liked the disc. And it was, yeah, it was last like a year ago. I heard talks about like maybe you should, and I was like, no way, people are not interested in this. Like we cannot like people don't really care. But then I started all the comments like, oh, maybe, all right. And then I drew the official stamp for in like 20 seconds, and it got released, and the response was it's very surreal and great, the response, but very, very strange. If I were to tell myself 3 years ago when I started, but oh yeah, you gotta draw a shitty drawing on a disc, and people are gonna like it, and you're gonna like it. I'm like, no, no, that is never gonna happen. It's very cool, but very surreal.
Is there, okay, a lot of players, a lot of pros get multiple signature discs or they come out with number two or three. Is there anything in the workings for I'm a Fuse 2 or anything like that?
Not with Fuse, but there will be. When is this going to be released? It's going to be out then, I guess. We have another signature disc. We, as in me and Johanna Nenes, have one actually. Yeah.
Did I miss
So
did I miss that? Have that has that already come out?
it's in now. It's in our mystery box, but there will be a small run next week with that disc. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not a Fuse. It's not a Fuse.
Okay, but it's in your birthed mystery box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those were those were some of the most unique videos, shorts to
Yeah.
watch.
Hmm.
What was your comfortability level of recording those?
No, I'm fine. I don't care. Like I don't it's for me doing marketing, it doesn't feel like I'm doing marketing. I just want to do weird, funny stuff. I enjoy that. And the idea, if people haven't seen it, it was we released a mystery box with me, like Johannes holding me and having the box in my belly. Like all of these, like we're expecting a child, because that was the idea. Like maybe we should, instead of just having a box and say release, we wanted to do something weird. So we went out on a mountain, and Johannes was standing behind me, holding me, and the mystery box, baby box. It was certainly odd, but very funny.
Can you tell me a little bit about transitioning from that kind of a little bit of acting, doing that, to more recently where you got to act in a commercial for Latitude? Can you tell me anything fun, any fun stories about working with that?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the moon,
Yeah,
maybe?
talking about the
That has gotten,
moon.
yeah, the moon thing, the moon commercial is very uh that is, we're doing another thing tomorrow, also like acting stuff. I've actually been interested in acting for, not now, but when I was a bit younger. I enjoy that side of, I don't know, I just enjoy it. But actually doing that, it was many hours standing in a spacesuit. And that was also like one of these, like, where am I in life right now? This is great, but this is so odd, like having this camera, and I'm falling over, but the production company that we work with, we're very close with them. I like them a lot. And so it's, and the responses has been very, very fun to see. Like on Jomas, in the comments, you see like That Latitude moon commercial is weird, but it's very funny.
Yeah, it's
So yeah.
eye-catching. I think the first time I saw it was on the Disc Golf Network, and
Hmm.
commercials pop up. Most of the
Yeah.
time, you're just like zoning out, doing something else,
Yeah.
and that pops on. And I'm like, I
What
was, I
is
was like,
happening?
what is this? This is
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
different. I thought, like, the start of it, I was like, this is not a disc golf company
Yeah.
marketing. This is something
Yeah,
else. And
yeah.
then, yeah, you guys pop up and you get hit in the face with a rock. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I think mostly I get really, really when uh not annoyed, but when we do marketing here at Latitude, I get very like, we've done this, or other companies has done this. I don't want to do the same thing. It doesn't feel as enjoyable for me then. So I rather do really weird than something that has been like made 100 times before.
Have you seen on YouTube the like, what is it? It's like the top 15 like cringiest disc golf commercials. Have
I
you
saw
seen
that
it?
today. It popped up.
Okay, I
Yeah,
watched it like yesterday.
yeah, I'm on there twice.
Okay, well, after watching that, wait, did you watch it all the way through?
Yeah, I didn't see all of the things, but I jumped to what, like the countdown.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think I watched the first like three or something like that. But after watching those, I didn't know you were on there, so I didn't watch all the way through. But uh, how can you compare after watching those to watching the Moon commercial?
Yeah, I think if because you see time and time again that now it's sort of work that the budget for our moon commercial, it's not the budget, maybe it's the idea. I think that's the main part of it. And you see time and time again, especially now when I feel like, especially on social media and YouTube, the threshold for quality that's needed to be viral or something has lowered a lot. And for me, I like that side of it. And I think the most important part is the the idea and the story. So it just so happens that I think the story and the weirdness of the moon is maybe great, but we've also spent a lot of time on other commercials that haven't really been that successful. So it's not a recipe for success just because we had like, I don't know how much money, but a higher budget than when me and Frida are standing in a field out here singing about a disc. That was very low budget.
What about you mentioned watching, you already watched the video, but what kind of disc golf content do you consume on YouTube? Who are you watching? What kind of videos are you watching?
Yeah, I would say Jomas, mostly because I find it relaxing to watch. I think I saw mostly all of it, MPU, FPO from Dynamic Disco, but no, was it? Yeah, Dynamic Disco. Yeah, I would say that primarily, and sometimes I watch other like Simon Lizotte. Sometimes I watch, but in terms of inspiration, I go to other places. I look for, I don't know what works, and I try to incorporate disc golf into that concept, like with the wood turning disc thing. So, but I would say Jonas. I think it's a slick production, and it's something you can like have in the background if it's not maybe the final rounds. So yeah.
How did you get your vlogging style? Because you watch a video from yours, and if you're traveling somewhere, if you're doing something else, there's other storylines that are kind of tied in with the vlogs. How did you get your style? Like, where did it all come from?
I don't know really. I think like inspiration is such a, for me, scattered thing, because I pick when I see a movie and I like it, maybe a transition or a camera angle. I sort of remember that, and I sort of pick and choose from mostly everywhere. But I think vlogging when you don't have a clear idea is very hard, the story sort of writes itself, but only afterwards in editing. So I just try to make it as fun and enjoyable as possible. And when a segment gets too long, I sort of go, we need another chapter. I usually do it in chapters. So it's like this is I can expect this from this chapter. So I tag it with something clickbaity sort of, so people watch and then I take another chapter. So I think it's just how I would enjoy watching the content. I think it's very important to ask yourself, what do I want to watch? So you have that. um you can use yourself a lot in that, I think.
What's been your, I mean, you said 3 years now that you've worked for Latitude. What's been your favorite video that you've made? Because we've talked about a lot of different kinds of videos that you've done so far. What's been your favorite one?
Yeah, I think one of the that I'm most satisfied with editing wise is actually the last one, the back nine, when we played with Paul McBeth and a great guy named Jorge in Spain. And I don't know what it was though. It felt very smooth for me, that video. But besides that, maybe the vlog when we went to the US for the first time, a bit over a year ago, because it was so odd making a video that had so little disc golf and having so many comments saying this is the best disc golf video ever. That is sort of when I realized that it has so much to do with the feeling you get while watching a video, and not like showing all the perfect throws at all times, because that's not what we're trying to do. I think I'm trying to capsulate the feeling I have when I play disc golf, and I'm not missing all of the putts.
Yeah, my next question I was going to ask was, what was it like getting to film and play with Paul McBeth? How was that in Spain, getting to work with him?
For me, it doesn't really matter who I play with. It was fun to meet him. He's a great guy, but it's not. I don't go, oh, holy shit, I'm playing with Paul McBeth. It's like, oh, he's a great guy. We can have a great conversation. So it's never about the person, really. I really see it as just another dude or dudette if it's a FPO player. So, because I mean, at the end of the day, if I have a good round with someone, it's usually that I can connect with them and have a conversation with them. So that was great with him, but that is not because he's Paul McBeth. That is because we had a great conversation about stuff. So it was a good round, but not because he's Paul McBeth.
Who's been your favorite person you've got to work alongside with in the collaborations that you've done or people that you've worked with?
I think maybe the person that is very like me in real life, I would say, we send stuff on, like, DM each other at all time. I think I have something here. Yeah, Albert Tam. He is just a very, very great person. At Like, he's funny, and we have the same sort of humor. We watch the same sort of TV shows and stuff. So I would say that came very naturally, and we've kept in touch ever since. So that has to count for something, I think.
What's anything in the woodworks for Latitude videos? Anything you can hint at that is upcoming that's going to be interesting? I mean, it's all interesting, but
Yeah, I think we're heading to Worlds in late August. So something there. I don't know the story, but we haven't really had time for it, but I want to get back to making some uh, like disc golf basic how-to videos, because I feel like there's some that we haven't done yet. So those are maybe, but the US trip will be the biggest sort of thing. Yeah.
it's Smuggler's Notch, right, up in Vermont. Yeah. How do you feel about going up there? Because have you been to the U.S. other than going to Kansas?
No, no, just the ones. And the US is actually the first country I've visited that I miss. sort of, I don't know why. I don't know what it was with the US that was very compelling. I find it like everyone understands me, I hope, or just maybe they're just polite and nodding. And it was just everyone's so friendly. At least they were friendly to me. And I don't know. It's something about the US that so I really looking forward to going to Vermont. For me, I don't care where I'm going. It's just a fun experience. So
What are the storylines that you guys have like thought up of? Like, what are you going to try to do at Worlds? What's going to be the like? What's going to be different compared to the last video you made that was in the U.S.?
I think last time when we went to DDO, it was just the schedule we had was just constant. We had to make these amount of videos that was outside that video. So we had a conversation, me and Jahan. I've ruined his name. Everyone calls him Jahan. It's like my favorite thing. But it's I think we're gonna try to be more present and to have more time to talk to players there and people there. So it's going to be a bit more relaxed, and I looking forward to that because it's very stressful. We worked so many hours during the day, and when you have a camera at all times, like and you think about content and story, and there's people that you also want to focus on, is it get very like yeah. I can't do two things at once, so.
Yeah, do you ever turn off work when you go on a like a vlog kind of trip? Are you able to back out for a minute?
Yeah, I think the more we've done those videos, the more I've had a clear idea of the story beforehand. So I know we need to make this scene or shoot this thing, and then we can leave it and we can sort of be normal human beings for a while.
Couple things in the works for Latitude. Um, what about your future? What does anything change with Latitude? Do you get to do more or less stuff, or what's your future look like specifically?
As of now, when we just had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago, me and David, like what could it look like ahead? And for me, as of now, there's still plenty of stuff I want to do in the video space. But after that, I don't know really. I certainly don't want to leave Latitude. It's just great atmosphere, and with this creative freedom for me works really well. So as of now, nothing's gonna change, and I don't know if there will at some point. I'm not gonna do YouTube videos for like 20 more years, I think. But as of now, I don't have any plans on doing something else.
This is more for me. Do you any fun hobbies? Any interesting? What do you do other than disc golf? Other than work? Any fun hobbies? Anything interesting?
Well, as of right now during summer, it's disc golf and work, and I work out, but it's more and more disc golf right now. So I don't have any fun answer uh, besides that.
So you can't say a player from your company. It's got to be somebody else. Trilogy doesn't count. It's got to be outside of Trilogy. Who's your favorite player to watch?
Favorite player to watch. I'll do two then. Favorite player to watch the content is Alden Harris. He has a really great editing style. I really enjoy you don't know what's going to happen. I really enjoy his channel. And that is not Latitude or Trilogy. A favorite player to watch. Favorite player to watch. Ooh, maybe Kevin Jones.
Like if they're, I like thinking about it like if they're close to winning, then I'm rooting for them to win, or like somebody I would like love to see win a major championship or something like that.
I think I enjoy, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I enjoy seeing Nate Sexton, I think, because he has a good forehand, but also he seems like a really nice person. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna go Nate Sexton. Why not say Innova, right?
Ah, it doesn't matter.
Why not?
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming on. This has been fun chatting with you. All of your links will be in the description. So Latitude's YouTube. I'll link to I'm a Fuse, the Jonathan signature disc. Other than that, anything you want to say? Last ending soundbite.
Keep disc golf fun. If it's not fun, try to make it fun. Like, don't, there's so many people, me included, that gets really worked up if you miss a putt, but it's not worth it. It's just keep it fun. Who cares?